If you're just starting out your filmmaking journey and buying your first gear, it can be super overwhelming. Which camera to get? Which lens is best for you? 35 or 50? Do you need multiple lenses? How out should you use zoom lenses? Do you need lights? Do you need microphones? How much is all of this going to cost me? Do I need to sell a fucking kidney? You get the point, but it's actually super simple, and here are my top recommendations for the gear to just start out with. Now I can go on and start talking about how you need a full frame sensor and that you need a modern cinema camera, or you need an Alexa or a box style camera or a Pixis, but the truth is any modern mirrorless camera will be absolutely perfectly fine to just start out with. Just make sure it has some good ISO sensitivity, that means it works good in low light, and that it has a solid stabilization. Anything else more like sensors and dual native ISO and stuff like that is not necessary for your first beginner camera. And if you don't have a camera, the thing in your pocket will do just fine. Trust me, you can really start with just a phone, and probably most of the phones will shoot better quality footage than like some 15-year-old camera that your dad gave you. Audio. Trust me, bad audio is the first thing that kills the film and crumbles it to the ground. Audiences can take shaky camera or bad quality or a lot of noise a lot easier than they can unusable or muffled audio. So get yourself a good microphone. For the first thing, you can get just a good shotgun microphone so you're not using the in-camera one. New iPhones have really great microphones, or get something like this, which is DJI mic. This is like the first iteration, so DJI mics that can plug into the camera. You have two wireless transmitters, one receiver, they work wonders. And worst case scenario, you can literally use your phone app to record your audio on the side. So just hide the phone in the shot, or if the character may be scrolling on the phone, you can literally record the audio in the voice memos app. But trust me, just try to get the best audio that you can, and I would highly advise getting a good microphone. Even if it's just a shotgun on camera microphone, it's gonna be a lot better than recording everything just in camera. Now for stability. You might think that you need some super fancy schmancy gimbals which are expensive and stuff like that, but trust me, if you're just starting out, you don't need any of that. I would recommend getting a good tripod first. Now, there are gonna be a lot of tempting options to buy super cheap tripods, but I would recommend that you actually invest in a semi-solid tripod. Now, I'm not saying you have to buy O'Connor tripod for like 5,000 euros. It's not the most glamorous or most exciting thing, but getting like a solid tripod would be the best first investment with your gear, because if you have a good tripod, you're not gonna have to replace it anytime soon. That's actually the mistake I made. When I was getting my gear, I really cheaped out on a tripod, and I was like, yeah, sure, I mean, it's tripod, I can, save a bit of money here. But I do regret that decision, because a couple of years passed and I needed to replace it because it was kind of falling apart. And trust me, in the long run, you're gonna save yourself money by investing in a good tripod at first. And of course, a lot of heartache, because you're putting actually a camera that's probably worth something on that tripod. So trust me, invest in a solid tripod, and it's gonna serve you well for years. Now for light, it's not necessary, but if you do have room in your budget for light, it would be great. My first light was literally small rig long battery life, which is the size of my phone. It's an LED panel, it was like 70 bucks. It has great battery and it's RGB. And I have to say it's really great for the first light, but it's not necessary, because you can do a lot with just natural lighting and just playing around with your space and using practical lights like this bulb behind me. So you can do a lot with just, practical lights and not needing super high-end expensive lights at first. And one of the things that I would recommend is pretty much just get like a piece of styrofoam that you can use to like bounce and reflect light off of to your actor, and get maybe like a piece of black cloth that you can use as negative fill to give you some shadows. That's pretty much basic first light kit that you're gonna need, that you're gonna want to spend your money on. Light is something that you can, I'm not gonna say you can do without, but if you're just starting out, more important thing is camera, and then microphone and those basics, and then you can go and build your light kit fully. Now the super boring and unsexy stuff, but we have to say it. SD cards, batteries, things that you're gonna carry your camera in around. Most likely one battery is not gonna be enough for your camera to shoot an entire film, so I would recommend getting at least one more battery for your camera, so you can do, while filming with one battery, the other one is fully charged, and when the first one dies out, then you can replace it and put it to charging while you're using the second one. So you're gonna have to get another battery. SD cards. It's not something that first pops into your mind when you're saying, oh, I'm buying some great camera gear. But yeah, if you do have a camera, you're probably gonna need to record onto something, and that's gonna be SD cards. Now, my recommendation is, if you have a good budget, buy those faster SD cards. I mean, write and read speeds to be around 300 megabytes per second. Those are really high end, because when you'll be upgrading your camera, you will still be able to use those fast SD cards. But if not, the slower and cheaper ones will do the trick. Just don't go super cheap, because you really don't want to, you know, shoot an entire film and then your entire card to break and corrupt and you not be able to save any footage from the things you shoot. So get solid quality SD cards, and you have to get at least 2 if you're planning on shooting something more serious. I would recommend to get at least one that's 256 gigs, if not both of them or more. And let's not forget storage. You'll probably have to get to the location that you're shooting on, which means you're gonna have to carry your camera in something. Newsflash, when you're buying the camera, you don't get the nice carry-on bag or anything else, and you can't really fit it in your pocket. So you're probably gonna need to get a camera bag or a backpack or anything of that sort that you're gonna carry your camera around with, because if you spend some, you know, more significant amount of money on your camera, you're probably not gonna want to just, you know, throw it in the backpack and go with it. So that's something also that's not really sexy or, you know, interesting or, you know, super, oh my God, you know what I bought? I bought a backpack for a camera. Yeah, nobody said that ever. But that's also one of the things that are really worth investing in some more money. And if you ever looked at, you know, actual camera backpacks, they are pretty freaking expensive, but that's for a reason, because they have to be expensive, because they have to be made with really good quality. And for the love of God, please do not buy anything super cheap from Temu, because one of the things that the camera backpack is supposed to do is protect your camera, which means that if it starts raining, your camera is not gonna get soaked and die. If you accidentally drop your backpack or put it, you know, maybe a bit harsher on the floor, it needs to protect your camera. So yes, it's gonna be more expensive, but it's gonna be worth it, because your camera is gonna be safe, sound, and protected, and you're not gonna have to worry about it when you're, you know, traveling with it. So that's basically the entire gear that you're gonna need to shoot your first film. The camera, tripod, some good microphones, the unsexy stuff like batteries and SD cards, but that's about it. If you have some more budget, then one light could be a great addition to that, but that's it. But the most important part, you can have the unlimited amount of money on gear, but it's not gonna save you if you don't actually go out, shoot, and learn how to shoot and use the camera and get great angles. So the best thing you can do is literally take your phone and go shoot something that looks nice and pretty and cinematic outside right now. That would be my best advice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this did give you some information on where to start. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.